Friends, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Salamat pagi, salamat patang, and salamat malam. Ito po si Nico Fabian. Once again, nandito po sa programa natin na we call it Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. And today, ngayon po, today is February 24 and it's a beautiful Monday po. Start na naman tayo ng bagong linggo, working week. And sana lang po, everybody is watching me now, participating dito sa programa po Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. I hope that you started the week, you started the day and the week with a very, sabihin natin na good mood tayo po. Weather-wise, nandito tayo po sa Manila ngayon, and weather-wise, okay na okay ang weather condition dito po sa Pilipinas, particularly dito sa Manila po. No? And I hope ang mga followers ko, mga kaibigan ko, mga friends ko dyan sa Malaysia, Kota Kinabalu, particularly dyan sa Sabah East Malaysia, specifically dyan sa Kota Kinabalu, I just want to inform you na ang kaibigan ninyo si Nick Talk or si Nico nandito po ngayon sa Maynila, no? Sa Maynila. And as I promised you earlier or yesterday na pagdating tayo dito sa Pilipinas or sa Maynila, I will try to do my level best to give you ang mga updates dito po, no? Ang mga updates, particularly ang political activities, political stories dito po sa Pilipinas, dahil ang Pilipinas, ang Pilipino, no, will be once again having the midterm election po scheduled on May 12th. So let's start with our program, and to start with, I just want to announce na sa mga kaibigan, friends, brothers and sisters natin po throughout the world, ang Muslim community, no? They will be once again observing very soon ang puasa po, no? Fasting month nila. And based on the mga reports that we have been receiving or I have been monitoring, baka po ang puasa, the 30 days na puasa ng Islam, fasting month, some areas or some countries will be kicking it off on February 28, and others will be observing the month or fasting month sa March 1st po. Hindi pa ito official, but let's wait for the sighting of the moon. Let's say in Brunei, I was made to understand the sighting of the moon will be, if I'm not mistaken, sa February 27 yata or 28, no? Now, once it will be declared, mag-start na po, no? Mag-start na ang puasa, then immediately they will start the puasa. Philippines, I think 27, 28 din, sighting of the moon. And sa Malaysia, then almost the same date now, sighting of the moon, and it will signal the start of the fasting month. Narinig ko, and based on my experience, kasi I've been in Malaysia for more than half of my life, no? I stayed in Malaysia for more than half of my life. And ngayon, senior citizen na tayo, no? Senior citizen na tayo. So, it has been a tradition and a culture and a belief, way of life din po. Once mag-celebrate na ang kaibigan natin po, mga brothers and sisters natin sa Islam, they will start ang puasa. So even non-Muslims should also cooperate, should also cooperate, and let's respect ang fasting month ng mga Islam believers or Islam faithful. Islam faithful. So it will come, kailan ba yan? It will come, today is already 24. So anytime this week, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, either Friday or Saturday, or maybe some areas will be Thursday pa lang po, will start ang fasting month. So let's all respect and cooperate with our brothers and sisters when it comes to their fasting month. No? And I was also made to understand that some members of the community, no? Dito po sa Pilipinas, they already started giving some charity programs po, no? Charity programs to pave way para sa fasting month of Islam believers. And I received some messages last night, and some pictures and videos po on some Good Samaritans. We call it Good Samaritans po, no? Who are embracing itong Islam faith, no? They also started giving out some charity programs, for organizing some charity programs. And I received some messages and video clips that I'm going to share with you po, na dito po sa Pilipinas, particularly dyan po sa Zamboanga, Davao, and dito po sa Manila. I was made to understand isang pamilya po, no? Isang pamilya, mga Candido family, mga Paimin family, Dondon family, no? Dyan sa Zamboanga Peninsula, no? And also ang mga pamilya ng Paimin dito po sa, o dyan po sa Kota Kinabalu, sa Sabah. Now, some of the relatives, no, already started giving some charity sa mga less fortunate members of the society. I was made to understand that last Thursday po, na itong pamilya nila, no, mixed marriage na ito, no, mga Candido, mga Paimin, mga Empeng, no, and sa Zamboanga marami yung mga mixed marriages. Now, one of them, no, ng pamilya, family members, they did this charity. Ang charity nila po, they went to the mosque, ang mosque dyan sa Candido Drive sa Talon-Talon, sa Zamboanga City. And they distributed food packs po to the students, madrasa students, one of the mosque dyan po sa Candido Drive, Talon-Talon po, no? That was last Thursday. And I was going to understand a total of 100 packs were distributed to the students mga Tagblik, no? And other students, madrasa students dyan sa mosque nila sa Talon-Talon. And the same group, the same family, no? They also shared the blessings, to the people, less fortunate members of the society dyan po sa Davao. And based on the images or videos and sabihin natin videos, clips that I received last night when I arrived in Manila, now they also did the same program dito po sa Manila area, no? Dito po sa Manila area. And I would like to share with you this clippings, no? Video clippings po sent to me last night, no? When they learned that I arrived in Manila. Now they sent to me, and sabi ko, oh, that's a good thing, congratulations what you did. And it's worthwhile also including this video clip sa programa ko po, no? Sa programa ko po. So let me share you with this video clip po today, and or in my program, although sandali lang ito po, but it's worthwhile po. I would like to congratulate ang Candido clan, ang Candido clan, at saka ang Amping ba yan? Amping, and of course ang mga sabihin natin Paimin group also po, no? Ang pamilya, some are in Zamboanga City, others are nearby provinces, and some even came from Malaysia, no? They in whatever ways they try to share their blessings to the less fortunate members of the society po, no? And that's a good thing. And purposely they believe that since they're going to start ang puasa, so it's a good start. And they have been doing this for how many donkey years already po? Every year po, no? Every year. What you see is a video clip po, ang mga estudyante ng madrasa receiving itong sabihin natin mga food packs, meal packs, no? Sponsored by, shared to them by itong pamilyang nga, ang the clan that I have been mentioning. And thank you very much for sending me this video, and as I promised, I am going to share this video sa TikTok, the Talk with Nico. So don't forget, sa puasa po, during the time of puasa, respetuhin natin po, let's all respect ang mga brothers and sisters natin when they start their fasting. After 1 month, 30 days, then they are going to celebrate ang Hari Raya Idul Fitri. Idul Fitri po. So ito po, this is it. I was made to understand also ang members of the Alpha Phi Omega yearly din po, no? Dito sa Quiapo, sa Golden Mosque. They also do this yearly distribution of buka puasa meals. Buka puasa, we call it in Malaysia buka puasa meals. And yes, last year I participated din dyan po sa buka puasa distribution of meals sa mga believers, no? Dyan sa Quiapo Church, sa Golden Mosque. And I did it last year, and I think the previous year also na-contribute din tayo po sa mga sa mosque para give food after ang prayers nila, sunset prayers nila po. So that's it. Ito po, let's move on sa programa natin, ang TikTok, the Real Talk with Nico. Now, one of the topics that I'm going to touch now is ito po, si Digong. Sabi ni Digong po sa last Saturday ang speech niya, no? Ang speech niya sa Mandawi City sa Cebu, na sabi niya, posible, nakikita ko baka martial law tayo dito sa Pilipinas if these things will continue po, no? Ang leadership ni Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, who's the incoming president of the Philippines. Let me share you this video clip, and kayo na bahala. Kayo na bahala to judge and make any reactions or comments mo. Ang purpose ko is to share with you ang updates natin. Okay, let's start with itong speech ni Digong tungkol sa martial law, which was delivered kailan ito? This was delivered last Saturday night. I was monitoring it sa KK, and dumating si Digong, despite long wait, dumating yata si Digong after 10 o'clock na, no? 9 something or slightly after 10 o'clock, but yet ang mga tao doon po naghintay talaga kay FPRRD or si Rodrigo Roa Duterte po. They really waited, and ito na po a portion of his speech which I would like to share with you today, no? Today, let's listen to this speech of Digong. You all that, nandito po. Umpisa tayo, siguro mag full screen tayo so that you will be able to really see ano talaga na sandali, I will adjust tayo para mag full screen tayo, hold on, okay, hold on, full screen tayo, we will see kung pwede tayo mag full screen. Okay, nandito po si Digong.
Hindi na umano siya masusurpresa kung magdideklara rin ng martial law. Papunta na rin umano sa diktadura si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Ito ang ilan sa naging pahayag ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa kanyang talumpati sa ginanap na Cebu People's Indignation Rally laban sa impeachment, korupsyon, opresyon, iligal na droga at kriminalidad noong Sabado. Ayon sa dating Pangulo, hindi na umano siya masusurpresa kung magdideklara rin ng martial law si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.
Si Mr. Marcos is veering towards a dictatorship. Pupusta ko sa inyo, dili na manaog pagkahuman man sa iyang termino. Pareha na sa iyang tatay magkagubot na punta. Because ang iyang buhato, kung declare na po martial law, pareho sa iyang papa. Oo, pag martial law, why election?
Sinabi rin ng dating Pangulo ang pagnanakaw umano ng Marcos family sa ginto ng bansa.
Unang ikawat ni Marcos ang atong gold reserves. Sige, bubitaw ng niyago. Actually, suko ko. Sige, nilang baligya ang atong gold hantod karon kamay na lang kayo. So, sao na lang pagtindog ang atong ekonomiya pagkabot sa panahon, masirip nila na wala na tayo back up sa atong kwarta. Importante na tanang nasod na ngunit sila gold kita na to, muni among mundo o muni balor sa among kwarta. What na kibaw ang gold diin gibaligya o pila. Kaya sila musultihan na ang administrasyon. Kada dapat public na, kay public issue, public property, public money. And yet, tingnan tamo padung na siya sa pagka-dictator eh.
Sa pagpunta ni Duterte sa Cebu, hinikayat nito ang mga Cebuano na iboto ang senatorial candidate sa ilalim ng PDP laban upang maprotektahan ang kanyang anak na si Vice President Sara Duterte na hindi tuluyang ma-impeach.
So kinahanglan ni Inday, manaog na silang tanan para masiguro na dili siya magkabot sa Senado. Iuot na mo, magagpapan ninyo na akong yang sa inyo.
Samantala, naglabas naman ng reaksyon ang Malacanang sa naging pahayag ni Duterte ng diktadura sa ilalim ng kasalukuyang administrasyon. Sa inilabas na pahayag ni Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, aniya baseless at ridiculous ang pahayag ng dating Pangulo. Aniya mananatili ang administrasyon sa pagsunod sa rule of law, pagrespeto sa karapatan ng bawat tao at paninindigan sa konstitusyon. Gladys Tuwabi, humahataw sa balita ngayon.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Ayan po ang balita na air dito po sa Maynila last night. Ito po, no? Last night. And of course, narinig natin na tungkol ang mga reaction, ang mga observation ni Digong, former President of the Philippines, si Rodrigo Roa Duterte, when it comes on the possibility, no? Possibility of baka we are leading towards martial law po, no? Martial law. I'm not saying sigurado yung mag-martial law, sana wag po, no? Because we still believe on democracy. We still believe on democracy. So, ganun lang din po, election ngayon, campaign period ngayon, no? Campaign or election fever na tayo, and you can expect more people will be talking about itong mga issues. And sana lang po, I hope that ang mga kandidato natin, especially itong campaign period which started last February 11 and will go on for 90 days sa mga senatorial bets, no? Aspirants. Now, huwag na sana tayo below the belt. We stick to the issue lang po. No? Maganda yon ang issue. What can you do? Why voters should support your candidacy? Anong plano, how to solve ang mga problema sa Pilipinas, because not only si Digong but even the incumbent president si Bongbong Marcos admitted na marami tayong problema dito po sa Pilipinas that needs to be addressed immediately po. Ano ang mga problema? Ang bigas, bigas natin po, ang presyo is still very high. And mayroon pa tayong mga corruption problems, mayroon tayong climate change, no? Itong mga typhoon, and ang dami pa tayong problema. So, let's listen. That's why I keep on reminding ang mga voters, no, for the midterm election, reminding them kung pwede, lend your ears to these aspirants, to these candidates po. And from there, you will be able to make a wise decision. And during the voting day, please vote your candidates or your leaders according to your conscience. Po. Think about your future, the future of your children, and the future of the generations and other generations to come. In totality, think about the future of the Philippines so that we will be able to achieve. In order for us to progress, itong nasyon natin, ang Pilipinas, there are three things that I believe is very important. We must have political stability, economic stability, and security stability. Importante yung tatlo po. Importante yung tatlo. I don't know if you will agree with me, but that's how I look at it. I define progress for the country. Tatlo lang po. Political stability, economic stability, and security stability po. Alright? So, talking about the election po, no? Ang PDP Laban versus ang alyansa, ang grupo or ang partido ni Bongbong Marcos, administration ng Marcos. And for your information, yesterday, dito po o dyan po sa Malaysia, mayroon din proclamation rally was held in Kuala Lumpur. And this time po, ang proclamation rally of candidate, aspirant to be a senator, si Pastor Quiboloy. Pastor Quiboloy, who is now jailed, facing some complaints or cases against him po, against him. Although, please do not misinterpret na si Pastor Quiboloy is not yet guilty po, not yet guilty. So, that is the reason why he can still run for his ambition to be a senator of the country when we start voting sa May 12 po, midterm election. So, I will share with you itong sabihin natin ang rally dyan sa Kuala Lumpur yesterday sa proclamation rally ni Pastor Quiboloy. Pastor Quiboloy. Okay. I will share this video clip sa inyo po. Let's listen. Watch and listen. Ito po. I think I have 3 video clips po that I'm going to share with you ngayon tungkol sa, sabihin natin, ang proclamation rally held in Kuala Lumpur yesterday po. Yesterday was February 23rd, 23. Nandito po. Let's listen to this. Okay, yun po ang a portion or a video clip that I managed to record during the sabihin natin na itong proclamation na rally ni Pastor Kibuloy dyan sa Kuala Lumpur yesterday, February 13. More videos pa po, no? More videos pa about this proclamation rally, but I just want to inform you na during the rally last Sunday or yesterday, ang dami po, more than 500 supporters of Pastor Kibuloy and supporters ng PDP Laban candidates headed by former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, who attended. They bring their campaign materials. Some were using mga political shirts, no? ng mga kandidato nila, and of course mga Banabay brothers nandoon din po as guest speaker during the rally, which started in the morning and culminated towards the middle in the afternoon yesterday po, no? And just for your information, based on the previous elections dyan sa Pilipinas, ang specifically itong presidential election ng 2016, midterm election ng 2019, tapos another presidential election held 2022, no? Presidential election 2022. Now, Malaysia, mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia po considered this place as a Duterte country. Why? Because overwhelmingly sa 2016, where Duterte won as a president, became the president, overwhelmingly ang boto, ang suporta ng mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia. At the same time, sa 2019, ang mga candidates, nag-zero ang opposition na candidates during the midterm election ng 2019. Duterte pa rin. Ang mga Filipinos supported the candidates of Duterte. Pagdating na naman sa 2022 presidential election po, ang Filipinos dito sa Malaysia po, again, overwhelmingly supported ang tandem between Bongbong Marcos and Sara Duterte. Mostly because of Sara Duterte po, no? Sara Duterte. And ngayon, based on my survey that I conducted several weeks ago, ganon pa rin po ang suporta ng mga Filipino communities dito sa Malaysia sa Duterte camp. Sa Duterte camp. Shoutout muna tayo kay Nonong Pia, who is watching my program today. Classmate, Nonong Pia, good morning to you. And in Malay, we used to say it, salamat pagi, salamat patnat, and salamat malam. Kumusta kayo po? No? Kumusta si Nonong Pia? Hope you are doing good and everything is running smoothly. Especially today, we're starting the week. Monday na Monday po. No? And God bless you, God bless your wife, God bless your family, and God bless the Philippines. Okay, let's move on. Mayroon pa tayong clippings regarding sa rally held in Kuala Lumpur. And this time around, let me share you itong clippings po. Proclamation rally pa rin ito. You hold on. I am not a Filipino for nothing, sabi ang mga supporters ni Kibuloy. I am not a Filipino for nothing. Alright, let's listen to this. Alright, yun po. You know, I was made to understand ang rally po dyan sa Kuala Lumpur yesterday, attended by more than 500 followers and supporters po, no? of Pastor Kibuloy and PDP Laban, yung partido ni Digong. And ang dami po, mga entertainment numbers po, singing, dancing, and everything po, no? And it was a very exciting merrymaking event. Merrymaking, and it was successful according to the organizers. Mayroon tayong kaibigan dyan, si dyan sa SMNI, Malaysia, si Lester Vale, and she extended me the invitation, but medyo wala tayong time kasi I'm scheduled to go to Manila yesterday, and the program, ang event dyan sa Kuala Lumpur was also yesterday. So hindi tayo naka-attend po, no? But anyway, I would like to thank si Lester for sharing or sending me some video clips at saka mga pictures po. And at least, maski paano, I managed to share today sa inyo po ang mga activities dyan sa Kuala Lumpur. Last video natin po, kasi nag-send sa atin si Lester. Anyway, nandito po. I will show you another video clip. Hold on, ha?
Kaya naman namili po ang ating mahal na Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ng mga senador na magaling, matatalino, may puso, mahusay, at higit sa lahat hindi sinusuka ng tawag. Totoong nagmamahal sa Pilipinas, hindi plastic. Ang lahat ng mga pinsuka mag-ingay! Yes, partner, tama kayo dyan. Kaya naman tamang-tama dito kayo sa buong Sky Ballroom sa Kuala Lumpur. Ang tabundong ng nais ng tunay na pagbabago. Pastor Apollo sa Senado. 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 Ang tanong natin ngayon, mga kababayan, handa na ba tayo sa isang matatag na Pilipinas? Handa na ba tayong tuldukan ang kalabat na korupsyon sa ating bansa? Sawang-sawa na tayo. Kaya naman ngayong panahon na naman ang pagpili ng bagong mamumuno sa ating bansa, ilagay natin sa Senado si Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. Pastor Apollo Duterte sa Senado. Pastor Apollo sa Senado. Pastor Apollo sa Senado. Pastor Apollo sa Senado.
Yun po. That's it. Nakita natin na masaya-masaya sila during the rally, and it was very peaceful. Walang problema sa permit dito sa Malaysia po because they applied the permit from the Kuala Lumpur City Hall, and they also informed ang Philippine Embassy that they will be organizing such a, sabihin natin, event, no? Political event or gathering dyan po sa Kuala Lumpur. Now, who is Pastor Kibuloy? Just for your information, for those still don't know who is Pastor Kibuloy. Pastor Kibuloy is an spiritual leader, no? He is the founder of this Kingdom of Jesus Christ, no? Kingdom of Jesus Christ. And presently, he's facing cases po, no? And jailed dyan po sa, or dito sa Maynila, awaiting for the hearing of his case, hearing of his case. But of course, he's qualified because he's not yet guilty. He's not yet guilty po, no? So, sa mga cases filed against him, criminal cases po. Now, let's see And a lot of people believe he got a member, yun na KOJ nila po, no? Kingdom of Jesus Christ. I was made to understand that they have a member, a total a membership of 6-7 million po, no? 6 or 7 million members nationwide. Nationwide po. And kung mag-solid itong mga members ng KOJ, Kingdom of Jesus Christ, ang mga supporters ni Pastor Kibuloy, then that will be advantage to the candidates of Digong. Ang candidates ni Digong, meron silang a total of 9 candidates po for the senatorial slate, while si Marcos mayroon na complete 12 senatorial slate. So may advantage sila because if all the KOJ will support ang Duterte, then may advantage na po, may pondo na. And another thing, kung ang INC, Iglesia ni Cristo, which they held rally, prayer rally, supporting ang statement ni Bongbong Marcos that to proceed with the impeachment of Sara Duterte. That was February 11, if I'm not mistaken, or January 11 ba yun? It was held nationwide dito sa Pilipinas po. Now, they also have millions of members, 2 million, 3 million yata yun po, no? Now, knowing INC, they vote en bloc, straight voting yan sila po, no? So if you put together ang votes ni KOJ at saka ang INC, malaki na po ang pondo ng Duterte po, candidates. Although, for your information po, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I think for the midterm election po on May 12, we have a total registered voters nationwide, something like 68 million yata yun po. 68 million na voters po who will be going out and vote on May 12. On May 12 po. No? And if all this crowd nakikita natin po sa mga campaign sorties ng mga kandidato ng mga partido, particularly itong grupo, the two major groups, political parties, ang Marcos administration alyansa para sa bagong Pilipinas, spearheaded by Bongbong Marcos, and itong grupo ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ang PDP, PDP party. Now, yan po. What do you look at it? If they can turn the crowd into votes for them, then I believe one of them will win. One of them will win, Ganon lang yan po. You see, ang grupo, ang crowd ni Duterte, every time he comes out and meet the people, sigaw na sigaw talaga mga tao, Duterte. And nakita din tayo for the past few sorties of the Marcos group sa Iloilo, dito sa Manila, sa Dumaguete, no? Na malaki din ang grupo nila po, no? Ang crowd nila, So if this will turn into a vote, then we'll see. Shoutout muna tayo kay Mary Lou Pentojo, is also watching my program today. I would like to say salamat pagi, salamat patang, and salamat malam. How do you do? How are you? And God bless you and God bless our family. Alright? So, move on tayo po sa sa programa natin, and this time around, let's talk about impeachment po. Impeachment ni Sara Duterte. So, anong latest developments sa impeachment? Nandito po ang news report about the impeachment of Sara Duterte, and mayroon din niyo po ang mga statement si Senate President Francis Escudero. Nandito po. Let's listen to this. Saan na yun, 126. Saan ang 126? Tingnan natin po. Escudero. Escudero, 126. Sandali ha. Escudero, 126. Nandito po. Let's listen to this.
At magsisimula pa lang ang... Ngayon, ipinahayag ni Senate President Francis Escudero na dapat sundin ng Senado ang utos ng Korte Suprema kung atasan nito ang mataas na kapulungan na simulan na ang impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Gayunman, nilinaw niya ang pagbobotohan pa rin ito ng Senado at kailangang may mabigat na dahilan kung sakaling hindi ito sundin. Ipinunto rin niya na may mga pagkakataon sa kasaysayan kung saan sinunod o hindi sinunod ng Kongreso ang utos ng Korte Suprema. Ayon kay Escudero, hindi pa gumugulong ang impeachment process at magsisimula pa lang ang mga pre-trial proceedings sa pagbabalik sesyon ng Kongreso sa June 2.
Minsan nag-utos sa Supreme Court, PRO, na huwag nang ituloy ang impeachment laban kay Chief Justice Davide sa parte ng Kamara. Hindi yun sinunod ng Kamara. Nagbotohan pa rin pero hindi nakakuha ng 1/3. Number 2, nagdesisyon ng Korte Suprema sa kaso ni Chief Justice Corona naman na hindi pinapayagang buksan yung foreign currency deposit account. Nagbotohan ng Senado na sundin yung kautusan ng Korte Suprema.
Balita ngayon!
Okay, yun po ang statement ni Senate President Francis Escudero. Okay, nagbuo na yan po ang mga lawyers team, both itong grupo ng Kongreso po, no, who filed the impeachment complaint against Sara Duterte, Vice President Sara Duterte, and ang grupo din po ni Sara Duterte, Vice President Sara Duterte, mayroon na din sila po ang lawyer, ang team to defend her sa trial, no? And mayroon din ang mga prosecutor team on the other side, yun sa Kongreso. And let's listen to this. And kayo na po bahala, ha? Anong mga reaction ninyo, ang comments ninyo po. But I just want to share with you itong clippings, ha? Itong clipping na meron tayo. Meron tayo for the consumption of my followers, ang supporters ko po dito sa TikTok, The Real Talk with Nico. Alright? Let's listen to this. Hold on ha, sandali. Andito na po. Sandali. Hold on.
Because no former the Marcos Romualdez camp is in panic mode because no former Philippine president in history has ever acted as legal counsel in the Supreme Court until now. Just imagine Attorney Rodrigo Roa Duterte wearing a judicial gown and personally appearing as Vice President Sara Duterte's lawyer would be a highly unusual event. It could dominate headlines, and his involvement would make it the biggest legal and political event in the country. The public might focus more on Duterte's legal defense than on the merits of the impeachment case. Why? For several reasons. He has the strongest legal experience and inside knowledge. Before entering politics, Digong was a prosecutor for many years. His courtroom skills will be an asset in framing the case, and he knows how to navigate legal battles. He is very familiar with their legal perspectives and reasoning styles. This knowledge allows him to craft arguments tailored to specific justice tendencies. He is the best political strategist. If he can portray the impeachment as a political conspiracy, it could affect how justices justify their ruling. They may look for procedural reasons to dismiss the impeachment complaint. And finally, he is a great tactician and an expert in political warfare. His presence could shift the narrative from impeachment to political persecution. If he plays the father defending his daughter card, it might sway public opinion against the impeachment. His strongman image and direct confrontational style could put pressure on the judiciary. The Marcos...
Okay, that's it po, no? And for your information, it is already confirmed that former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte is a part of the lawyers ng team ni Sara Duterte who will be defending her in the event the trial will push through after the election po, no? After the election. So, yun po. But anyway, before concluding this program, shoutout muna tayo ulit kay Marilo Pentojo who is watching ang Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. And sabi niya po, she wants to pass a message. And sabi niya, good morning Nick Talk, followers and viewers. Have a nice day. May God bless us always. Alright, thank you. Yan po ang message ni Marilo Pentojo. Okay, let's talk about impeachment. Impeachment. Ano ba talaga ito impeachment? Ha? Ano talaga ito impeachment? Ano, paano? How it started? Ha? And may basehan ba yun po ang impeachment? This has been going on since last year po ang story about impeachment of the Sara Duterte. And this time around, I just want to, once and for all, again, I want to share with you ang comment ni Attorney Sal Panelo regarding the impeachment of Sara Duterte. Siguro this will be my last video clip for today. And let's listen to this. Saan na yun, ha? Hold on. Tingnan natin. Saan na yun? Hanap muna tayo. Ito yung problema sa atin. Maghanap-hanap pa tayo. Hold on. Panelo. Where is Panelo? Panelo. Nandito po. Let's listen to this. 5:55. 5:42. 5:42 pala yun, ha? 5:42 si Panelo. Hold on, ha? Medyo 5:5. Saan na yan? Medyo... Sandali lang po, ha? Give me the few seconds. Few seconds. Alright, nandito po si Panelo. Let's listen to this interview of former Secretary Panelo.
Well, that's correct, you know.
Mag full screen na lang tayo, ha? Para okay na okay, full screen tayo.
Well, that's correct, you know. Well, it seems birds of the same feather. You can go together, you flock together. So okay naman isa. But how about you? Kasi sabi mo, na there is no basis for... wala naman talagang basis. Kasi kung titignan mo yung ground, sabi nila, confidential funds. Ang sinasabi nila, nagkaroon ng irregular expenses ng ginawa ni Inday Sara. Kasi daw, yung mga tumanggap, yung mga fictitious, Jojo, confidential funds are reserved by the government against the enemies of the state. Kukunin mo ang informasyon against them. From them, yung mga bumaliktad, yung mga nabili. Kaya pag pinapirma mo sila na tumanggap sila ng pera at binigyan mo sila ng informasyon, ipapatay niya mga yan. Kaya talagang dapat fictitious on this one. Kaya mo sinasabi nila, irregular daw yung mga paggastos. Una-una, at the inception pa lang ng proceeding, sinabi na ng COA, itong notice of disallowance, hindi pa ito final. Kaya, there is no basis na akusahan ka. Hindi pa nga final Kasi baka lack of compliance lang. Pero meron na ng latest, di ba? Na sinabing regular ang expenditures ng Office of the Vice President sa Secretary of Education at the time. So, ibig sabihin, anong basis mo? So, wala na yun. Pangalawa, sabi nila, may attempt to assassinate the President. Ano po yung pagbabantang yun na sinasabi, hindi naman pagbabantay yun. Ano ba talaga nangyari doon? Sinabi niya, kasi tinatanong siya ng reporter, ma'am, paano security nyo? Kasi nga, di ba may, matagal niya na sinasabi na may security threat. Threat against her life. Pero siya pinapansin. And then, bigla na lang nagkaroon ng, inilarawan siya unfit as a public official, inihiya siya sa congressional hearing, and then, inisay na si Presidente Duterte, si Kibuloy, sunod-sunod. Pagkatapos, hindi pa man pinapalimpis yung mga katagal na nila sinasabi magpapail. Marami, makikita mo na talagang merong diretsong goal na siraan siya. Kaya sabi niya, from the very beginning, alam ko na naman to. Kaya yung ginagawa nila sa akin, handa ko. O kaya, nung sinabi niya yun, nung tinatanong yung security niya, nakita niya ngayon yung mga nakaraan kung paano siya talagang gusto sirain at tuhugin. Kaya sabi niya, huwag ka mag-alala. Sabi niya sa reporter, may kinausap na ako na pag ako napatay dito, ito, you run after them or patayin nyo. O ang tanong ngayon, nasaan ang pagbabanta ron? Kasi, as I've repeatedly said, that's conditional. It will happen only when she's dead. Because if she's dead, then how can there be a threat? It will be coming from the grave. There is no such animal as crime that threat from the grave or threat from a dead person. Wala yun. Ang pwede pa mag-apply dyan, under Article 8 of the Revised Penal Code, may sinasabi doon na conspiracy and proposal to commit a crime or a felony. Tapos in the second and third paragraph, sinasabi, ano ba yung conspiracy? Conspiracy, two or more persons agree to inflict harm on the life, honor, property of a person. Ano ba sa crime? Ano naman yung proposal? Proposal is when you suggest or offer to another to commit a crime. Yung dalawang yun will only be a crime, yung conspiracy and proposal, on crimes that the law gives a penalty. Ano yun? Conspiracy and proposal to commit sedition, okay? Treason, rebellion or insurrection, and coup d'etat. Outside of that, a conspiracy and proposal to commit murder, which, kung titingnan mo, parang doon lumabas yun. It's a conspiracy to commit murder, di ba? Hindi crime yun. So if it's not a threat, it's not even a crime. Paano ngayon papasok? Sasabihin nila, kasi sabi ni Inday Sara, puputulin niya raw ang ulo ni... Yes. Diba? Nagsaya siya gano'n. Ang problema sa inyo, hindi niyo alam kung anong hyperbole o kung
So you're saying this is all rhetorics?
Kasi tingnan mo Jojo, pag tayong dalawa, pag nagkaasaran tayo, alam mo, nagligido ba tayo kaasaran? Meron ka sinabi na ng wisdom, sabi ko, putuli ko kaya ulo ko. Di ba? Yun ang mga salitang ano yan Bakit niya sinabi yun? Nag-react siya nung humingi yung sundalo ng watch ng presidente na dating ginagawa naman ni Presidente Duterte. Parang napahiya. Kaya sa sarili niya, putuli ko kaya ulo nito. Wala yun. How can that even be an impeachable ground? Tapos sabi nila, unexplained, well, nasaan? Wala naman sinasabi. Paano nagkaroon ng unexplained well si Zara?
So yun yung mga...
Political lang siya, Jojo. Anong
Okay, yun po ang explanation ni SEC former secretary si Salvador Panelo, Attorney Salvador Panelo. Yan po, at least now again you will have an idea kung ano talaga itong impeachment issue, no? Impeachment issue. So, ganun po. That is the situation dito po sa TikTok, the Talk with Nico, and of course I just want to remind ang mga followers, it's anniversary come tomorrow, February 25th po, no? Somebody is calling me and unfortunately I cannot answer your call. Sorry lang, no? I'll call you later on. So, may program bukas dito sa Manila po, particularly dito sa It's a Shrine. It's a Shrine because we are going to celebrate. Ang Pilipinas will be celebrating the anniversary of People's Power, no? People's Power, which took place way back in 1986 po, no? 1986. I'll try to see if I have time to cover that event, and at least you'll be able to know itong mga followers ko na paano the Filipinos celebrated ang People's Power Anniversary tomorrow, February 25th. So siguro hanggang dito na lang po ang programa natin ngayon for February 24. And maskin paano, I hope I managed to give you the updates, no? updates, the news that you deserve to have, no? And maski paano, I managed to entertain you po for the past almost 1 hour siguro itong ang programa ko po. And sige lang, I'm here now in Manila, and I will try to see whatever I can do para give you ang mga latest developments dito po sa political activities sa Manila. Once again, si Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. I love you, and see you tomorrow. Bye.